LD3. Der Deutsche, the Old World Patriot.
Yeah, welcome to another battle report from me. In this match we will see another WTC game against Team UK, or the Three Lions, how they are named. I play against JamesR with his Bretons, and I bring my own Beastmen in this game. My list is the same as in the last match against Team Poland, and now I face Bretons, exiles to be specific. His list consists of the usual dual Baron setup, so we don't see a Green Knight here, we only see one Outcast Wizard, and he has no Paladin in the list. He uses the Barons, the one with Frontier Axe and a Falcon on a Fredamund, Witch of Knightly Temper, that's perversion. And the other Baron has 3 Lucky Hurlum and the Witch of Heroism, which is exceptional strong against large targets and monsters to be specific, because he can just fight with a hand weapon and gets basically 3 to, if he gets 3 hits, he has like up to 6 attempts to roll a 6. To me, this is the only build in which I would play the Witch of Heroism. Yeah, the Outcast Wizard brings Battle Magic and the Law Familiar. That's nothing extraordinary. Personally, I miss the Ruby Ring here. Having double Fireball on that wizard will just fry any chaff your opponent brings and anything that threatens your flanks. The big unit of Mounted Knights of the Realm has no Paladin inside. The Outcast Wizard is also not on a horse, so they are on their own. Antlers of the Great Hunt make totally sense, and is, I think, the right choice here. 10 Peasant Bowmen, Skirmishers. I miss a banner here. I think the banner is really worth on them. Then a big Yeoman Guard, maybe a bit too big. Of course, they have full command and will accompany the Outcast Wizard. Yeah, all the cuts he made on the character budget, on the Peasant Bowman and similar, go then into Pegasus Knights, where we see 2 big units, a unit of 5 and a unit of 4. I think they have some banners, not sure right now, which make this a very aggressive list. He has a lot of threats in the list. He has 2 big flying units if you want, which can, yeah, just swarm my flag and push me into situations where I have to flee from one unit and the other unit gets a shorter charge, so that's pretty dangerous. The 2 bombards he brings, which every exile list brings, just enable him to do this playstyle at all. He can put pressure onto me due to the long range. I will try to counter that with the harpies, with line of sights, and with my big block. But Wildtide can't hurt them. I had to learn this against Oz. And yeah, they can really easily shoot down or shut down my Great Bray Shaman on a Tusker Chariot, as well as the gigantic spawns of Chaos. So this is a bit dicey, and will come down and define the first 2 turns. Since his wizard has no horse and yeah, he has no other magic defense, my biggest hope, or my way to dominate this game, will be magic. Let's check the spells I rolled for this game. We can see a lot of TMP. This will hopefully allow me to position myself into the zones I want to be in, maybe await his Mounted Knights of the Realm, the Yeoman Guard, and threaten him whenever I want it. I got the usual 4 times Wildtide in this list. I got 2 Wind Blasts and a Fireball, so there's a lot of shooting, and Black of Frost I got on one of the mages. The one in the block will maybe allow me to kill off Pegasus Knights with Fireballs and Wind Blasts. Yeah, pretty solid choice, and this will be my best chance to win the game. So deployment is explained pretty fast here. He has the Pegasi, which will he most likely put into a castle, but still I have to care for the 29-inch first turn charge range with a Vanguard banner. So I wheel my Razorgors a bit to the outside, so if he overruns or if he pursues the Razorgors, he will not go into the block. So I do this with both Razorgors, which go on the flanks. And yeah, he deploys around the hill in his center. I use some gores and my block behind the 29 inches, because with TMP I have a lot of range to threat him and just make sure that he cannot harm me that early. Since he moves the Pegasus right behind that, I'm not that much threatened anymore on a threat, so I can put my units a bit more aggressively. I guess he wants to fly them behind that big rock, so I can try and counter that. I think about placing the gigantic spawns somewhat central, so I can counter the Pegasus wherever route they chose. A bit of surprise was that he placed his cannons into the center, where I can actually attack them from two sides. In my testing games against Oz and Denarius, the bombards were placed on the flanks, and they're hurting me there way more, especially behind that forest. If he places them behind that forest, he can shoot 2/3 of the mat without me being able to shoot them or charge them with the Harpies at all, because the Harpies will be my best threat for the bombards. Even if they don't have fly, they have 14 inches of a charge range, and if I do that, I can stay outside of the 12 inches of the grape shot. So I then finish my deployment. As you can see here, the characters go into the block as usually to the left, because I want to attack from the left side. His mage is on my right flank, so I can evade his 24-inch dispel bubble as good as possible. Yeah, the flank troops, he places the knights on the flank, which will I most likely just evade, and I ask my opponent if I can fix some minor stuff in my deployment zone. Yeah, he thinks about going forward, but as I told you, I optimized to be not able to get caught by his overruns. We just check this here again. So I just use my Harpies for two things. First, I want to hunt the war machines with them, and second, I will need them for some line of sight restrictions to the bombards, because this way I can actually prevent long range or greedy shots. As you can see, his Pegasus went to the flank to threaten my Harpies and to protect the cannons. I expected that, and I think it's a solid tactic, which is very good for him. My GCS just leaps forward, and then I check the TMP, which just goes off and which enables me to attack his Pegasus. With my giant Bray Shaman, I sadly cannot get anything into range, but I still casted the TMP, so I think about protecting him or pushing forward and setting up a turn 2 opportunity with him to strike either the Pegasus or anything else. My Reservoirs will just move forward to hinder him from dispelling and evade his knights. My Harpies will do the same and hopefully threaten the bombards. So I go to the flank, to the edge with the other unit of Harpies, just to let his Pegasus run outside. Then Wildtide goes off and does a lot of damage to the Pegasus unit and to both Barons, because I have to divide the hits, not the wounds, on that. But yeah, sadly I cannot kill a unit or a Baron, but I think it did still a lot of damage, which will define the game most likely. I also set up something of a trap. You can see the Razor Gore behind my unit. This means if his Pegasus charge my unit, I will just flee through my Razor Gore. He will not be able to reach me. The Razor Gore will most likely panic too and do fallback in good order, so my GBS can then in the second round just kill off the Pegasus, and it's basically a game. I then have most likely only 1 or 2 turns to rally the big block, which is with leadership 9 is still somewhat realistic. Yeah, the Bretons are then set on defense. As you can see here, he shoots off my Harpies in the center. Sadly, the Knights are just evading my GBS on his right flank, so I cannot threaten that one. And the Bombards start their work and do 3 damage on the first gigantic spawn. And it's not as bad as it was against Stormy Dable in that game, so I still survived that one. And in my turn 2, I check my opportunities. My Harpies for sure want to kill the peasants and overrun into the bombard. We just checked that the knights are really outside of the range, which we agreed on earlier. And yeah, this leads or leaves the only valid target for the team B being the center and maybe shooting the brick of the yeoman guard. At the same time, I don't want to kill the entire brick, because then the Pegasus can charge on my brick. So I have to be somewhat cautious here, and most likely I want to provoke a counter charge from the Pegasus against my Harpies. What I do here is a big mistake, because I just forget that the Pegasus see my gigantic spawn of chaos over the yeoman guard, so he actually can charge them, which I did not think of, the one on the left, and which will lead to a few problems, because I want to park my block right behind that. Yeah, movement with Razor Ghost here is a bit awkward. I want to set him up to be able to charge the block, at the same time await his knights, so I can turn off his magic defenses or force him to shoot onto the Razor Ghost. And yeah, I find here a small gap for my GBS to shoot a Wild Tide onto the Pegasus. So I will place him here, and I have to set up later another layer of defense to be able to pull off a similar flee option as I did in the first turn. Now, as I told, the block will go to the center, just shoot a bit into the yeoman guard, and you can see already that if the GCS on the left will be attacked and the opponent overruns, he will hit my block. This was a dumb placement of my gigantic spawn. Yeah. Then I do the safety net with the Harpies and with Razor Gore, so if I flee here like this, I will flee to safety. The doggos will do the same. If anything happens and my block has to flee, I will be able to flee here. Yeah, Wild Tide goes off with 22 hits. I'm just able to kill one Pegasus, sadly. The rest of shooting does not that much. The Harpies do not kill the peasant bowman. The bombard has panic a bit, and the Harpies will just go into the way here. Yeah, that was basically my turn. The Bretons turn 2 starts with a miscast, and the peasants die via peril test, so I don't have to mind them anymore. And what happens then is the charge of the Pegasus into my gigantic spawn. He thinks about charging the Harpy or the Great Bray Shaman, but I set it up that I can basically flee, so just the one unit will attack the gigantic spawn. He has both Barons in there, including the one with the heirlooms and the heroism, but he can only get 2 models to the front. This is still enough, because he can move through the ranks. Yeah, the other Pegasus evade a bit, and most likely my Harpies will be shot by the bombard and just killed. He does not move that much. He moves the wizard, I think, out of the unit and tries to use a pillar to go through my units. Yeah, he then tries to shoot my GBS with the bombards instead of the Harpies. I would have shot the Harpies, but they misfire. Yeah, a bit of bad luck again for him. So I'm not under heavy fire like I was in the Stormidable game in the first round of the tournament. And we proceed to combat. Yeah, we just discussed the combat, what is possible for him and what not, and you can see the 6 for the gigantic spawn, which just dies, and he just overruns into my unit, and he maintains the same formation when going into the block. Now in my turn I have the big problem that I cannot charge the Pegasus Knights and that we have to fight in my turn, so I just check my options. The Harpies will for sure attack the bombard. If I go now into the Yeoman Guard, I will not yield a lot of results, so I focus on saving my block. If I do a fallback in good order, I will flee like this behind my units. So what I try here, or what I try now, is to set up my units in a way that if I fall back in good order from the Pegasus, he will not be able to pursue me, and if he charges me and if the doggos panic, he will not be able to declare a charge in his turn onto my block. It's not that easy, but it can work, so I just check where to go with the other units and most likely hide them, so he's not able to charge other stuff in the next turn if he just restrains. And here you can see another big mistake where I put the Razor Gore herd in a way that he can overrun if he kills the other spawn, which is left with 3 wounds just. Yeah, in combat it's a bit lucky for me again. I do the fallback in good order. I do it for 6 inches. So we use the trap, or we use that what I told before, and he will not be able to charge me here again in the next turn. And he restrains because I guess he wants to charge the gigantic spawn afterwards. He does that, and he thinks about charging in his turn with both Pegasus units. The smaller unit, which can then maybe overrun and catch my block. This would be another wonky play for me. Has luckily not enough charge range, but the other Pegasus, they get in and can actually kill the spawn now. He then checks out what he can do with the human guard to evade the Razor Gore and not being able to be charged. Yeah, the game folds at this stage because after he kills obviously the gigantic spawn, he fails to overrun into the Razor Gore. He only rolls a 7, not the 9 needed with 3 dices, and in the next turn I can just kill off both units of Pegasus. Basically that's game. It's over very fast. It's a 19-1 for me, and let's look at the score in the tournament. We almost win against the 3 lines in the cap. This means we can get close to the US team. Team Belgium is just right behind us after the 4 matches, and in the 5th match we face Team USA. Sadly, this round is already over and we won against Team USA, but we didn't win high enough. So Belgium just went into the cap and is now on the top spot. The final round is just going on right now. So if either Belgium or the USA get 91 points, we have no chance of winning the tournament anymore. But if they go lower and we get 100 points, then maybe we can still overtake them both. Belgium has to play Team Wales, which are not that bad, and the USA has to play Team Poland, which was a tough fight so far for us, and also has 3 wins, but not that many turning points. They've won just a few close matches. This means at the same time that if the Winged Hussars just lose small or win small over the US, the 91 point thing is not given for them, and Team Belgium has to show they're able to win high against the Wales team first. At the moment we already have 63 points out of 4 matches, so we are on course for the cap, and I'm very eager to see what the other teams do so far. If you're interested in this tournament, if you want to keep posted, let me know. I can add you to the server where you can watch all the matches live. Yeah, that's it from my part for now. I have some other projects I want to do some content about. In Germany we just started a Warhol online league, the Bundesliga, where I will play another faction for every game. I make myself a bit of a challenge out of that, and other people will play random factions as well. So this will be very interesting. SBOT is starting soon, where I will compete with my Beastmen, and in German comp I play Bretons Exiles. Yeah, a lot of Bretons at the moment in my social bubble here. So there's a lot of stuff that is coming, and I also want to do a review of German comp lists with scenarios, and hopefully soon a Beastman Arcane Journal review with Jeff Winslow from Team USA. That's it for now, and I hope you enjoyed the content. Let me know what you think of it, and we will see each other at the next video. Until then, this was Untitled from LD3.
LD3. Der Deutsche, the Old World Patriot.